Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will discuss how to report payroll taxes. In the prior session, we looked at how do we compute payroll withholding, payroll taxes from an employee, and how do we compute the payroll taxes for the employer. And specifically, we looked at federal income tax, FICA, which is Medicare, and Social Security. So simply put, if we're looking at the sample pay stub, the individual got $1,200 in gross wages. They have $17.40 of Medicare withheld, $74.40 of Social Security, $185 of federal income tax. Those are the taxes that we looked at in the prior session, and we learned how to compute them, or where are they derived from. In this session, we want to know, what do we do with this money when the employer takes the money from your paycheck and when they put away their share of Social Security and Medicare? When do they deposit this money? How do they send it? And when do they have to send it? And which form they have to use when they send it? This is what we will discuss in this session. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com. You are here because you are serious about mastering taxation. Whether you are taking a tax course, studying for the CPA exam, or enrolled agent, tax feels overwhelming, not because it's impossible, but because it's dense, detailed, and often taught at a pace that doesn't match the way you learn. The rules can feel disconnected, and the logic isn't always explained clearly. At Farhat Lectures, we slow it down. We explain the why behind the rules, break concept into simple steps, and rebuild your understanding from the ground up without assuming any prior knowledge. When explanation matches your learning, everything changes. The confusion fades, the rules start to connect, and tax becomes manageable. If you are ready to understand tax with clarity and confidence, start your free trial at farhatlectures.com, and let's build your tax foundation together. I will start with the payment. The payment is done through a website called EFTPS, or that's one way to do it. It's a free service provided by the Department of Treasury. The first thing, if you're not a member of this website, you will need to enroll. They will send you a code. When I was in practice, I used to log into the system all the time to make payments for our customers. Now I do use it for my own company, but it's basically, this is how you just basically go in and make your payment. And employer typically deposit taxes either monthly or semi-weekly, and we're going to see why. When is it monthly? When is it semi-weekly? Now, new employer are deemed monthly. So if you're a new company, you are deemed monthly, except in unusual circumstances, and we would look at those unusual circumstances. Then eventually you're going to have a look-back period. A look-back period is a 4-quarter, basically for a year. For example, for 2026, the look-back period runs from the quarter starting July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. You would look at this period and you want to determine if your payroll taxes are more or less than $50,000. If they are equal to $50,000 or less, you are a monthly scheduled depositor. If your payroll is greater than $50,000, so you have payroll taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and federal income tax more than $50,000, then you are considered semi-weekly depositor. Then we need to know, if it's a monthly, when do you submit? If it's a weekly, when do you submit? Starting with monthly depositor, you would submit the payment. You can submit the payment through the EFTPS system on or before the 15th day of the following month. And you will submit, once again, your federal income tax. You will submit your Social Security and Medicare, the employee share, as well as the employer share as well. For example, an ABC company is a monthly depositor. For payroll paid during the month of April, the company withheld $4,900 in income taxes, $2,500 in Social Security, and $863 in Medicare. So the company is also, they'll have to also match, remember, they have to match Social Security and they have to match Medicare. They have to match Medicare and Social Security. Therefore, what they have to do now is they have to submit the payment, a total of $10,726, no later than May 15th. Because it was for April, you have 15 days of the following month. If you are a semi-weekly on a semi-weekly schedule. What does that mean? It means you have payroll deposit, yes, more than $50,000. Well, here's what's going to happen. Any payroll paid on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So if we're looking here at if you paid your employee Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you have to make the payment by the following Wednesday. I'm going to give you the shortcut. You have basically three banking days. Now, payroll paid on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, or Tuesday. Then you have 1, 2, 3. You have till Friday to make the deposit. Once again, 3 banking days. For example, XYZ company, which pays its employee every Friday, is a semi-weekly scheduled depositor. So when the company pays its employees on Friday, it incurred this tax liability of $20,000 on that date. They must deposit this money by Wednesday of the following week. Because remember, they pay them when? This company pays on Friday, Monday, Tuesday, they have till Wednesday to make the deposit. Now the payroll date is the date the payroll is paid, not the end of the payroll period. It's when you pay them, not when they worked. Nicholas Company is a monthly scheduled depositor that pays its employee on the first day of the month for the payroll period ending on the last day of the prior month. So they pay them at the beginning of the month for work that they did the prior month. So payroll taxes withheld on June 1st are due no later than July 15th, even though the payroll is for work performed in May. So we're looking at, so the employees work in May, they worked all of May, and they were paid June 1st. That's when the payment is made. Then guess what? They were paid in June 1st. It means the employer will have till July 15th, 15 days after that, June 1st, to pay. Now, if the day on which taxes are due is a weekend, holiday, taxes are payable on the next banking day. Remember, it's 3 banking day. Semi-weekly scheduled depositor have at least 3 banking days to make a deposit. So, if a banking holiday means that an employer does not get a 3 banking days, the payment is extended. Now let's talk about too large or too small of payroll liability. If the payroll liability is less than $2,500 at the end of any quarter, so you select everything, you have $2,500, that's fine. You could use a voucher. We're going to look at it, voucher 941, when they file their quarterly payroll, and rather than use an EFTPS. That's fine. Now we're going to go from small to large. 100 or more in taxes on any day during the deposit period, it must be deposit the money the next banking day. Why? The government wants their money. If you owe them $100,000 in payroll taxes, they want the money basically now, tomorrow. When the bank is open, you give me the payment, whether you are a monthly or a semi-weekly schedule. Once you reach that amount, for example, if $100,000 of taxes are accumulated on a Monday, they must deposit by Tuesday. And this is very common for large companies. They have thousands and thousands of employees like Walmart, Costco, these large companies. If on that Tuesday additional accumulated taxes are $90,000, the taxes are deposited by Friday. You have 3 days. An employer who's a monthly schedule depositor and accumulate $100,000 tax liability on any day becomes automatically semi-weekly on the next days and remains so for at least the rest of the calendar year and the following year, until basically the look back period can be looked at again. Now, if you don't deposit on time, there's a penalties, and I list here the penalties. I'm not going to go over them, just something you need to be familiar with. So let's take a look at an actual form or an actual example. Let's assume we're dealing with a company with 8 employees. The gross wages for the quarter, $360,000. They withheld from their employees $28,800. The wages subject to Social Security 360, the Medicare wages 360. Simply put, all the wages are subject to Social Security, all the wages are subject to Medicare. So let's assume they pay them semi-monthly. Semi-monthly means they have 6 pay period for a quarter. So each pay period equal to 60,000. Social Security is 60,000 times 12.4, 7,400. Medicare is 60,000 times 2.9, 1,740. If you're not sure what these are, please look at the prior recording when we discussed FICA. Federal income tax withheld, this is giving by the company, divide this by 6 will give us 4,800. So the total payroll liability per one period, per quarter is, per period, it means per one period, per paycheck is 13,980. So total quarterly, for the quarterly is 6, it should be 13,980 times 6. Again, we're dealing with a semi-monthly payroll, 83,880. Now for the sake of illustration, we are going to assume we already deposited $83,700. What does that mean? It means we are short $180. Now let's take a look at 941 and see where we put this information. First, you put the number of employees, 8, the total wages, 360, federal income tax withheld from your employees, 28,800. Now, if you're wondering, where is these numbers coming from? The company will have their payroll record, how much they paid. Wages subject to Social Security, all of it. Now, it could be less. Remember, Social Security has a limit, but for this example, we would assume that all the wages, none of them reach that limit. All the wages are subject to that amount. And on the form, you multiply it by 12.4%, which is 44,640. Again, this is for the full quarter. Medicare, there's no limit. And if the wages is 360, Medicare will be 360 times 2.9 for the whole quarter is 10,400. We don't have additional Medicare tax withholding or wages and tips. Total Social Security and Medicare taxes. Now we look at 5E, total Social Security and Medicare, $55,080. There's no tax due on unreported tips. Total taxes before adjustment, it's the Medicare, it's the Social Security Medicare plus the federal income tax withheld from the employee, 28,800. Total 83,880. Total taxes after adjustments, we have no sick pay, no adjustments, no group life insurance, 83,880. We deposited 83,700 so far. We send 83,700, therefore we owe $180. Now we can log into the EFTPS and make this payment, or we can send this form. No one sends the form anymore. Just you can go online and make this payment. So what we did in this session looked at the payment method. How do we make the payment? When do we make the payments? The forms involved. That's something you need to be familiar with. Again, this was a good review for Social Security tax. How do we compute the Social Security tax? The Medicare tax. We cover all of this in detail, but now we work with it on an actual form. And basically we submit the payment and that's that, and we're done. What should you do now? Whether you are an accounting student, CPA exam candidate, or an enrolled agent, what I suggest you do is you go to Farhat lectures and look at additional resources, lectures, multiple choice, exercises. Don't shortchange yourself. The best investment you can make is invest in yourself, and God bless.